republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, roll call, please.
Mrs. Lingo?
Here.
Mrs. Moody?
Here.
Mr. Parsons?
Here.
Ms. Petersen?
Here.
Mr. Roetting?
Here.
Mrs. Dosa?
Here.
Mr. George?
Here.
Okay, everyone's present and accounted for. You have the minutes before you from the March 3rd meeting, 2020. Has anybody seen any corrections or that we need to make on those? Hard to believe March 3rd was our last meeting.
Do you see anything? Mr. President, on second page, city manager's report, third paragraph doesn't have an ending.
Doesn't have a period.
Third paragraph doesn't have an ending.
Right. This will be to help us better understand something. That was about the paramedics versus EMTs or something like that, Bill?
Third paragraph would,
Would like to have the city's medical director.
yeah. Maybe, I think maybe better understand his role. I think that's what, with the medical director.
Yeah.
We were gonna have him come in, obviously, we're not any longer, but, would like to have the medical director at our April 7th council meeting. This will be, to help us better understand his role as the medical director.
Okay, okay.
And a period. Okay, I hope everybody got that. Anything else? Then I would ask for a motion to approve as corrected.
I make a motion to approve the minutes as amended.
Mr. Reddy has made a motion to adopt as amended.
I'll second.
Okay,
Pick one.
Cordel George, seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. What do you have, Bob?
We also have the work session minutes on the back.
Okay, on the back page of your minutes, there's the Mount Healthy Work Session, March 3rd, 2020. Any corrections or that we need to put on this?
Is that good?
Make a motion, I'll ask for a motion to adopt as printed.
I'll make a motion minutes be approved as printed.
Okay, Mr. Peterson's made a motion to adopt as printed.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Parsons has seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. I have no correspondence to bring forward. Does anybody else have any that they'd like to bring up? Okay, do we have any guest or special events? Okay, public input. I'll turn that over to Bill.
Thanks. We're on about a 30-second delay. So far, I have nobody. I am watching everything here on the live channel, live stream, and nobody is submitted anything. But I thought we might let's give it a few more minutes, just because they're not hearing it, as we're talking. So, if you want to sing a little song, Rob.
No, I will.
I'll just
We don't want him to.
Okay. All right. That's all right.
Could have brought your banjo.
Your arthritis isn't working too well with the banjo anymore.
Ooh. Bummer.
We are delaying at the moment for the YouTube to catch up. The YouTube is the right term?
Yeah, the movies, or the council meeting tonight's being live streamed on a YouTube channel.
Okay.
I think we've probably given it enough time. Nobody's requested any or had any comments or questions, so I think we can move on. Thanks, so.
All right, then moving on from public input to the committees. Business partnership, Ms. Petersen?
Okay, the Business Association hasn't really had a meeting since March. They canceled the March meeting, and we kind of canceled the April. We tried to do it by Zoom this past Monday, but we did not have a quorum, so technically we did not have a meeting. So we're going to try again for next month. So we didn't really talk too much. I know Betty Bolus was there from Fibonacci, and just kind of for information, they were going to have like the market starting in May, but of course we can't do that. So she's looking to have it in June. And then also those ear savers, that plastic piece that goes around behind your ears. She has some that you can come by for medical people, that they will give them to you for free if anybody needs them, if you just go through the drive-through and ask for them. That's pretty much it for that. And then the Alliance, I did get information. For March, they served 404 families. And of course, because of the virus, they've changed how they operate. So they're operating the pantry on a skeleton crew. It's only 5 volunteers that are working there, and they each have certain jobs. And then when the guests are supposed to remain in the car, and then volunteers will take the things out to them. So that's probably going to be going on for a while. So that's it.
Okay, thank you, Judy. Does anybody have any questions for Ms. Petersen? Okay, then we're moving on to beautification. Ms. Moody.
I really don't have a report, but with the no parking uptown, is that for cleaning the streets, Bill?
It is for restoration of the horrible water line that was put in
Okay.
last year. So yeah, Alita Construction is going to come in hopefully
Okay.
starting tomorrow, starting to grind and overlay the trench lines and the laterals.
So that'll impact traffic movement as far as they'll have somebody, like they do on Compton Road
Yeah.
now, I mean, kind of,
Right, yeah, they'll be responsible for the traffic
do you think it'll
control
be rerouted off of Hamilton Avenue, or?
I doubt it.
Don't
I mean,
know that. Okay.
traffic's so light as it is,
I know,
too.
I know.
You know, it's not a bad time to be doing it.
No, not at all.
Yeah, yeah.
I was thinking of the businesses that are still open.
Mm-hmm.
Want to make sure that we still try to go in and do our part to purchase from them.
Sure.
Because they're struggling right now, but they're trying to stay open, the few that can stay open.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine, because that'll help improve, obviously, the look of Hamilton Avenue, also with the driving. Okay. And as far as any beautification goes, as far as planting or anything, it's too early for that, and I'm not sure where we'll be with that, so we'll have to figure that out.
Okay, thank you, Jenny. Finance Committee, Mr. Parsons.
Don't have a real report, but we are going to have to keep an eye on our revenues over the next several months, maybe the rest of the year, especially the income tax, earnings tax, because a lot of our residents are not working, not getting paid, and a lot of the businesses are not doing their business, so they won't be paying taxes. So we'll have to keep a very close eye on what we spend our money on, because we may not have as much to spend. I'll take a look at it in a couple months, and I know Bill's watching it all the time. But that's all I have to report right now.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Parsons. Parks, Ms. Lingo.
I really don't have a report, but I wanted to ask Bill, I guess all our stuff that we have scheduled is just gonna be up in the air until we know what's going on?
Yeah, I'm going to recover it in my report.
Oh, okay.
Kind of, we have a plan on some things, but yeah, yep.
That's it, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Streets, yes.
I do have a question on finance. How are our payroll taxes coming in have we gotten our first quarterly yet, or?
Yeah, actually, we're 1 month in arrears, right? So what was collected in December is posted for us in January.
Right.
So our first quarter is technically January,
December.
December, January, and February, right? So those three months actually were exceeded, the original plan that I had put together. So, but that was before everything happened. So we'll start to get some insight, when we close out April. But really, that will be just March, and really things didn't really get clamped down in March till the end. So we're probably not going to get great clarity, like Bob was saying, on this probably well into June.
Yep.
And with the postponement of the filings and so forth into June, so it's really going to shift things back.
Okay. And then the only other question I have is I noticed in the general fund, right now we're sitting on about $600,000 to the good. Outside of typical operations, do we have anything large that is encumbered under that $600,000? Road work that we signed off on or anything like that?
That wouldn't be in the general fund.
Right, that
Right.
would be under the
Right.
street levy, but
No.
but that's
No, I mean,
so nothing under the general fund, buying a car or anything like that?
No, a memo went, again, I was going to cover this in my report,
Okay.
but a memo went out last week, and we're going to talk about this, as some of the things that we need to look at to try to do. But, I mean, basically, if it's not essential, we've all been becoming familiar with essential and non-essential lately, right? Anything non-essential is not to be purchased and for the foreseeable future. But we're going to still operate, and do the things that we need to do, maintain stuff so that it doesn't break. So yeah, those are some things that we'll work on here in a bit.
Okay. On, I read the document in the Ohio, what I couldn't, obviously until work is going to be done, or until the bill was passed in Columbus.
But yeah, until the legislature passes the budget. Yeah, and it's information there. It's right now. It's like it might be available as of July 1st.
Funds will not.
Basically, on a project like that, we would be currently out to bid in May with the, with they are the funds.
On safety, I mean, I saw throughout the hurt, circled a lot of damage. Our trees down.
A tree lines on Hickman, numerous and
Okay.
and tree is half the tree. Telling you, like, so I don't know what do you do? And somebody comes and gets it at any time.
Well, great relationship. Be with the
Right.
so and try out, but
Church, but I worry about that's
the tree.
so. But what if trying
A reputable is they wouldn't
Yeah.
out with from the tree trimmer. Hear that? And let me.
We can't do anything unless
That's definitely
Yeah.
on.
hanging over.
Mr. George?
Students will be vacation for what?
Mount Healthy? An amount of students? What are they doing with those?
Distributed service, so now also have starting. So yes.
Okay, thank
Sent me an phone if you have questions. The staff by phone and text. Chat phone or that's wonderful. All I have.
Food bank and to their web. Again, the mar- have been boxes distribution. They're all bagged. So they coon pick out vegetables. And done a lot resource service works.
Layman had been in the community, but
Yes.
she'd also needing assistance with people could do that.
County.
Mhm. Help in getting
Yeah.
those meals. You can come pick up like that.
Right,
But
exactly.
if people needed to help with that, especially now with people in need.
Absolutely.
And I forgot to mention.
Thank you.
Ms. Moody, matching donation alliance?
Yeah, and it's website. I don't specifically for the food pantry or the youth alliance. Honest with you, it's not that the food pantry doesn't need it, but that's usually where is, and the youth along.
Okay, any other questions? All right, thank you, Jenny. Moving on to the mayor's report, Mr. James Wolf.
Yeah, I am just going to pick up on that exact topic right now because I was really happy to take part in about a 1-hour Zoom meeting with Teakin Farm, Trinity, the Alliance, the Methodist Church, and it was really, really we're working together. At first, they were all doing their own things, always aware of each other and talking, but through that meeting, they really didn't have much to do with the meeting other than sit there and offer any assistance I could give. But it was very impressive interaction, especially I'm thinking of between Trinity and Tikkun, where they arranged the delivery of fresh produce from one place
Yes,
to the
they
other
did.
where need
Yeah.
arose that they didn't realize.
Well,
So
and
it
one
is
other
terrific.
thing, just to say real quick,
Yeah.
Reverend English from the Methodist Church, Sylvia had called me one night that they all of the soup and usually do as fundraisers at their church that had been in the freezer. So I went over on a Wednesday and picked because they wanted it to be used, and it was used at the community meal.
That's
And
great.
then on Easter, we both rang our bells, and Robert's wife is also a minister, so with distant worship, but we're going to continue ringing our bell every Sunday as a sign of hope and strength. But yeah, the Methodist Church in Trinity, and then with Tikkun, it's all a really good
And
relationship.
now Grace Emmanuel has gotten in on the group as well.
Yes, absolutely. That's been a
Terrific.
great
So
partner.
there's
Yeah.
even more churches getting
Yeah, that's
involved
right.
than were involved before. So I'm really happy to see everybody step up and want to thank everyone for that. The school district with food as well, while we're on the topic of food, they are having food pickups every Monday at each of the elementary schools, at the high school, junior high, here at the Mount Healthy Pool House, and at Overflow Ministries in Seven Hills. And there are different times at each of the places. You can check the Mount Healthy City Schools, their Facebook page, but every kid that comes up gets 10 meals to take home. So they get breakfast and lunch for 5 days for that school week. So it's out there as well. So amazingly, I don't think people should be point. There are a lot of great resources in town. Everyone knows about them. The other thing I do want to talk about just briefly, I have had businesses reach out quite a bit, really more than any other time since I've been mayor. Most of them just kind of checking in. I've been checking in with businesses that seem to be doing fine, the ones that stayed open. Sounds like carry-out's good, as we all know, and carry out only anyway. Pit to Plate got pretty creative. It was their dine-in service a year or two ago, catering only, and now they're front, which has been successful. Goodies is doing fine. I checked. So the restaurants are doing fine. It's the small retail shops that are going to be that we need to really support once they're back open, which it might be soon. We don't know. We haven't heard yet from the governor. But I do want to just stress that we need to make sure we're supporting them when they do open, because this is really taking a hit. Reasons a lot of them have if the city has grants to help them, and we don't. I mean, we're having tough. We could be in a tough time with our own budget. We're not. But we need to be careful. And to be honest with you, we don't have any federal funds coming in yet. I know that's being debated right now in D.C., saying that local governments need more funding. So we'll see what happens. We don't have that availability. I got D.C. Some opportunities for help, small business help. Made sure I shared that with all those business owners. It wasn't much I could do, but unfortunately right now it was the most I could do. Vince's got hit really hard by the tornado. They're going to do fine. Good thing with Vince is they've been around long enough that they've paid off their building and they don't really have any debt. So their roof up and dropped back on. I called Bill because they had, when this was going on, they weren't able to get a contractor out until like 5 o'clock on Friday, of course. And the guy was ready to work Monday, and they were worried about permitting. So I talked to Bill, and luckily they were able to go ahead, and you can see streets blocked off where they do some demo work, et cetera. So they're optimistic they'll be fine. Other than that, the only other thing I wanted to touch on was the state of emergency, and I'm sure Bill will cover more of this in his report. The part that I want to address is just because to ask. Most of the other cities around here have done this already. A lot of them did it a long time ago when the shutdown occurred. We didn't, and I'm willing to take the blame on that if anyone's upset about it. But I want really to understand why we didn't. We don't have a public health department. Hamilton County does, and we contract with Hamilton County. Hamilton declared a state of emergency. State of Ohio declared a state of emergency, and that's under for public health. So we were following the state and county guidelines. Didn't really see it necessary to do a state of emergency. Honestly, I thought it might have sounded like I was just trying to toot my own horn as mayor, show my authority, and I didn't want anybody to think that I was just flexing authority by doing this, if it wasn't necessary. But as Bill and I talked more, and as Bill had a lot of conversations, it has become clear that is to make sure we're and we're eligible for some other things, or we can work together with other communities. So at this point, I did on April 14th, so we need an extension of that today, just to make sure we are eligible for resources when they become available. So I just want people to know that we didn't do this early doesn't mean we missed out on anything. Again, as far as public health goes, and it really all this stuff, policing, et cetera, we've been following the guidelines of Hamilton County and the state of Ohio. So no ball was it from day one. We just wanted to make sure that it was necessary. And that's the end of my report.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Any questions for the mayor? Ms.
You
Lingo.
were talking about food. Do a pre-order again this week.
Yes.
So if you want to pick up anything on Saturday,
Oh,
you
okay.
got to call.
Because I missed it. I never
missed
know.
the last one.
Yeah, Mary will be there 10 to 2 the rest of the week to take orders, and then you can pick them up on Saturday. They're only doing donuts, bread, and coffee cake, and the only coffee cake is the the Beehive coffee cake. They're limiting what they're making available, but yeah.
I called up last because I didn't know about it. And we're all out. I'm like, shoot.
Yeah, it is pre.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. The city manager's report, Mr. Bill Kocher.
Thank you, Ross. So just to kind of wrap up what the mayor was discussing, the emergency, a lot of factors involved, and actually I've been watching it closely. It seems like sometimes it comes from council, sometimes it comes from the mayor, sometimes it comes from the manager. Just different variations of it. So I worked with our law director to research in our code where we have, because obviously we haven't, it's not something we do very often, right? And it was determined that the mayor does it for a week and then council extends it. So I'm hoping you guys will just extend it, maybe through the end of the year so we don't forget about it, you know what I mean? And it really just, like I said, I was in the same camp with the mayor and talking to FEMA and everything. I kind of pushed back. It's like, there's already a state of emergency in this state, the county. Why do we keep, I don't want, almost like an alarm, but we've determined that we don't want to put ourselves in jeopardy. So I think that it just kind of gives a timeline in here and kind of what we're doing. So I don't think it's anything, it's not given, a lot of the things that they were talking about why you would do something like that is that one example was you could avoid the bidding. You're going to purchase something for $25,000 or more, but that's not something that we're looking to do, right? And then it said it may, impact funding. It doesn't require you to have it. So to be on the safe side, that's why we're going to do it. So maybe under new business tonight, if you guys wouldn't mind extending it, that'd be great. So just a little bit more follow-up on OPWC. Two is that we're pretty confident in talking to our city engineer that the funds are available for this round of funding, because a lot of the dollars for this comes through the gas tax. So obviously that's going to start having a big impact because of so few people are driving. So that could maybe impact next year. We're keeping our fingers crossed. It's funded for this year. And again, that's just really what we're waiting on is for the state legislature to come back into session and pass the budget. And hopefully they'll do that and we can get that funding and then get the project going again. A little bit of good news, or some good news on the traffic light project that we have ongoing. It was bid out and it was awarded. The estimate that we talked about the last time I think we had a meeting was over $600,000. We had to pay 20% match on that, plus we had to do the one signal intersection at Elizabeth and Compton that wasn't warranted. We decided to pay for that at $100,000, or excuse me, at 100%. And I think the estimate on that was around $33,000 for us to pay that 100 piece of it. So our total cost, we submitted a check after that to the state for $160,000. The actual bid came in at $421,000, so that's good. So 20% of that is 80, right? The 100% cost for the Elizabeth intersection was $18,000. So there's some wins there. So there's always those situations in a project that unforeseen and that we'll have to look at. But hopefully by the end of this project, we're going to be getting that money back into the state. And we took it out like we discussed last time, half out of CIP. And then half out of the street seminar. So we'll divide it back from there. So that's some good news. Their intention is for that project to move forward. Shouldn't be delayed. It will once it's awarded. We will have a pre-construction meeting, and I think and that's something that they'll have to work out with. But hopefully that keeps on track. So that's good. The cleanup, our guys have done a great job, as they always do, Greg and his crew, and we've adjusted. You guys have seen the communications come out. We've adjusted. But when they came in during that time, they were able to distance well. Then we got a big boost today from the county. And I don't know if you've seen the cemetery. It was in shambles. It is cleaned up. I mean, it did a great job. There's still some construction debris. We lost the roof on the building over there. I think the city that the roof on this building was damaged. That roof we lost a couple cameras that we have in the park area, and then the building we own at 7500, which is the barbershop. It was the windows were broken out there. So all those are falling under one claim for us, and then in the process of being fixed, we're trying to use local. We've asked Bays to look at the roof over there. We've asked Hilltop to do look at the glass. So we're trying to help out the small businesses with that. Always we different that FEMA funding was a lot of like they added one every and they finally all damage for FEMA to come in. So is have the county in tomorrow on this if into the right of way they were so times obviously do electricity first part there's a lot of so have been in the right of ways for the most part. Tree on here create some challenges in line because if it was on private property now, but we don't have any fun with Ike. People keep dragging. Continue with contract for having them clean that up. On the city 10 or 11 because they were, that you saw the cemetery. Kind of, we're back, he's going to tell him that we're the property. City Hall. When it's things a bat, really sure why, but one of the we're going to start that outdoor sign during the day and other things. Obvious what we've done. It's been great, potentially save some. But as we can't
Whether
We're not
that
the
we
only
don't
do it. Monday we went back to our normal. There's hey, this is a confirm. They've also let us we are you want to call them to try to get things lead by we're trying to do so.
The rep for let me know that he our
Unless there's any
Hey.
we're having some at this see Jim Lowe. So there are a few
Your packet, the monthly.
as the financial and yeah, so
Gonna move on. Okay, ordinance 20-19. The church festival. Anything with reading on first reading on number 3. Resolution Article 1. Hamilton County.
This is with the compliant with the requirement regarding on a basis, and we basically they're making per what the different organizations require. What this is, that contract.
Council questions?
Yeah,
We have
okay, this is
11:41.
11:42.
Out of order.
I make a motion to suspend the 2 reading rule.
Moody.
Aye.
Mr. Parsons.
Aye.
Ms. Petersen. Reading.
Aye.
Mr. George.
Okay, the 270. Mr. Ms. Lingo.
Aye.
Mr. Mrs. Dosa.
Aye.
Mr. George.
Okay, by vote, resolution 2 is adopted. Oh, I apologize. Go back to resolution 1, back of the other. Resolution declaring it necessary tax limitation, 12.9 mils for the fire protection emergency service levy to the Hamilton County. Resolution 20-. We've been discussing. Questions and comments, council?
This night.
This needs to get to the auditors. Next meeting, have the levy.
Correct. Yes.
It does.
Okay. City needs it so that we can get it down to the county.
Just suspend the 2.
Mr. George has made a motion to suspend.
I'll say.
Mrs. Lee. Mrs. Moody.
Aye.
Mr. Reading.
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa. Mr. George.
7-0, the 2 reading rule has been suspended. Council?
Make a motion.
Has made a adopt. Second. Roll call, please.
Aye.
Mr. Parsons.
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa.
Aye.
Mr. George.
Okay, by a vote of ordinance, number 20-11. Next resolution, 20-11. A resolution to adopt contract relations between AFS-CME, local Mount Healthy part-time firefighters, AFL-CME, and the AFS-CME, Council CIO, and the city declaring an emergency. Want to touch on this?
Yeah, just real quick, and I believe we talked one other time. It was the believe it or not, you know, we just put in the union into the for the fire department for the part-time employees. It's been 3 years and the contract is expired. It expired April 1st. And with everything, we really didn't want to open up the contract because there's so many variables. It was kind of pretty much mutual. We went back and forth a little bit. There was some things that they wanted to address, but really what we were able to agree upon was, look, let's just open the contract, extend the duration for a year, and give the employees the same amount of increase that the other employees got, and then we'll revisit this after we see where things are going with the levy and different things like that. So that's all that this does. It just opens that section of the contract, and then once we see where things are going, we'll revisit this again next year.
Okay. Questions, council? What do you need on this tonight?
Need it tonight?
Yeah, that way we want it, that we can get it in place for the pay period.
Okay.
It's going to be back pay already, so
Yeah,
we
yeah.
might as well go ahead and get it done.
Right, exactly, because it'll go retro back to April 1st.
I'll make a motion to suspend the 2 reading rule.
And I'll second.
Okay, Mr. Parsons has made a motion to suspend the 2 reading rule. Mr. George has seconded. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lingo?
Aye.
Mrs. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Parsons?
Aye.
Ms. Petersen?
Aye.
Mr. Roetting?
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa?
Aye.
Mr. George?
Okay, by the 2 reading rules been. Resolution 20-1143. Any other questions or comments before we move on? Then I would ask for a motion to adopt.
I'll make a motion to adopt.
Ms. Petersen has made a motion to adopt. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Ms. Lingo has seconded.
Mrs. Lingo?
Aye.
Mrs. Moody?
Aye.
Mr. Parsons?
Aye.
Ms. Petersen?
Aye.
Mr. Roetting?
Aye.
Mrs. Dosa?
Aye.
Mr. George?
Aye.
Vote of 7-0. Resolution number 20-1143 is adopted. That is all the ordinances and resolutions. Bill, do I need to touch on this Ohio Public Works that was in the packet?
No, I
Okay. Okay, Old Business Council.
Quick question.
Yes,
Mr.
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 Parsons.
Kocher, did we apply for the SAFER grant, or has that been,
that we're in Steve was asking me questions about it today. I believe it was extended with everything that's going on, but we are in the process of getting that submitted, yes.
Any other Old Business Council? New business. Yes, Mr. George.
Could I make a motion to extend the mayor's declaration of state of emergency?
Absolutely. So
Till
you,
how
I,
long?
if everybody's comfortable just doing it to the end of the year,
Yeah,
Is
that way
fine?
if we don't forget it or something, and that's what I've seen a lot of people do.
okay.
So till December 31st.
So we're
of
declaring a
2020.
state of emergency until the end of the year?
How long
We
is
can
this gonna
always
go on?
pull it away,
Is
right?
this gonna be done by then?
Stop it.
Yeah.
No, if you know something, I'll
Might as well.
No, you get.
Well, if we do it to the end of the year, it covers us until.
Yeah, we might need to do it 2 years.
We can always stop it.
We can, it covers us and.
Yeah.
okay,
so we don't
Mr.
have to come
George
back.
has made a motion.
Yes.
Till the duration of 2020.
Made a motion to extend the declaration of the state of emergency till the December 31st, 2020.
Yes, sir.
Anybody like to second that?
I'll second.
Ms. Dosa is seconded. Okay, all those in favor of said motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
You scared me for a second. Opposed? Okay, motion is carried. Any other new business, council?
You know, if I may, I'll just add, you know, I tried to get thermometers for tonight.
Yeah.
And Amazon lied to me all week and said they were gonna be there on Friday, and they weren't, and then they lied to me again. So it's supposedly coming this week. We've got some ordered. Those have been really, really hard. You know, and again, you know, I know some people have masks on tonight, and I think as we get to what the normal is, and we'll get through it. And if it becomes necessary for, everybody's going to do that. But I would like to get temperature, thermometers, so that there's that comfort. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do for the employees. That's, I think, in reading what the governor's saying is, employees need to be comfortable at work, and so do the people need to be comfortable come in. So like I mentioned, we put up the sneeze guard. We'll get the required PPE for employees. We'll get the thermometers, and we'll have those available as we have more meetings, so we can make sure. I think this thing has calmed a little, but it could spike back again, and we want to be ready. So hopefully we'll have those for the next meeting as well.
Yeah, we don't know that this won't become a yearly event.
Sure.
Like the flu,
Yep.
which is a scary scary thought. Any other new business, council? Ms. Moody?
Oh, well, go ahead.
No.
Bob, go ahead.
Okay, I recently asked Mr. Kocher to look into making a penalty, or assessing a penalty to our residents who we have to cut their grass repeatedly. And he was going to discuss that with the law director. I don't know, have you done anything on that?
I have not. I'm sorry. I will.
Okay. We get too many people that we're cutting them
Repeat
every
offenders.
week.
Yes,
And if we put a penalty, maybe they will go out and find their own grass cutter.
absolutely.
So just an idea, something to look at.
Good.
Okay, Jenny?
I'm glad I deferred to Bob, because that was really important. Mine is important, but it was, all of a sudden it dawned on me. Did you see that I shared it to the WeThrive page. They're going to turn on the lights in the stadium in recognition of the graduates. I believe it's a Wednesday. I'm not sure it's tomorrow or not. And they asked people to turn on their porch lights.
I thought
I thought it was last night, but I don't.
They did it for LaSalle last
A lot of the schools did last night.
GCL did it last night, I know.
Lorraine did it last night,
Lorraine
too.
did.
Okay.
They asked
But
Mount Healthy to do it
I thought Lori
Wednesday.
Miller was on today,
Yes.
because I passed it along, because I saw it today. But maybe I'm wrong, because I thought for sure she had said Wednesday night.
It is. It's Wednesday at
Tomorrow?
8:20 p.m. So that's
Okay.
2020 military time.
Okay.
And they ask you to take a picture of it and upload it to a form. I will email it to all of
Email
you.
it to all of us, please.
So they want you to put your porch lights on.
They'll
And,
leave them on for 20 minutes and 20 seconds.
Yeah, that's what the other places were
yes,
doing.
and if you have a red light bulb, put a red one in. And anyway, you want to forward that to us on our emails?
Yeah, I'll work on that right now.
Because that's so it is tomorrow at 8:20.
Yes, thank you.
I didn't know anything about
Okay.
it.
Yeah, I didn't know anything about
I didn't
that.
know anything about it.
Well, Sarah put it on there, and I saw it. Sarah caught it before I did, and so then I shared it to the WeThrive page today.
Thank you.
Anybody else for new business, council?
One quick question.
Yes, Mr.
We will have a meeting next week, same time, same place, same channel?
Yep. Hopefully, I mean, I've been watching it all night, and I'll talk to Tim afterwards. There was it definitely froze during some of the time, so hopefully we can get that improved. And there's a slight chance that soon, the reason why we're here, and I don't know if everybody knows, is that the internet at City Hall was not substantial enough. Cincinnati Bell has been there on and off for the last few days, and they're bringing in a direct line, so we'll have very good internet after that. So as soon as we get that at City Hall, we'll switch back.
Kim texted me during the meeting and
Yeah.
said, it's really cutting out really
Yeah.
bad. And
Yeah, I
Diane
saw
called
a
me,
lot.
and she can't see it too, so.
Yeah. Tim did post a version of this meeting will be posted tomorrow at ICRC-TV.com, /Mount Healthy, community /Mount Healthy. So if people want to get on the ICRC feed, they can see it entire. I think the problem is that when it would freeze, then it would catch up to where we were. So there's blocks of the pieces that we're missing. So right now it looks great.
Anything else, council?
Denise?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Ms. Lingo has made a motion to adjourn. Second. Mr. George seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion is carried. Thank you, everyone.